What's up? Oh, look, I got oil stains all over my nice shirt. Whatever. Don't care. So, anyways, I was goofing around this morning, very early. I was like, you know what? We could make a better Hotend. Sure, we can. Yeah, that's their new little stock countdown thingy. It's built into StreamYards now. The little countdown. And from what I understand, you can modify it now. I haven't played with it at all, but it's a little 30-second countdown video. I guess they're going to make some more. You can download some more. I don't know. Anyway, so what's up, folks? Happy little peoples. We are going to play Infusion. Just for the fun of it. No real reason other than I was goofing off and went, yeah, we can make a better Hotend. Yeah, sure we can. So let's do it. So I actually started goofing with it earlier today. Where is it? Here we go. Come on, load up. And here's the concept, and I'm going to change it some more. But the biggest problem we have now is that normally the heat break threads into the block and the nozzle threads into the block, and they thread into each other, and that's, they pinch by the dual threading. The problem with that is if the block itself gets knocked, everything comes unscrewed because the heat break is mounted solid. So if the block starts, if it gets hit by a piece of plastic or, something, a little fray of plastic or a little hair can get hit, or a raised corner, it can start unscrewing it, and then you get leaks and, temperature and everything. So here's my concept. If you sort of look at it, you can sort of see it. And let's get rid of the heat block. And instead of the heat break screwing in, the heat break in this case just slides in from underneath. You just slide it up in, and it's got a little cup. So it catches this lip right here. Let's bring it back up to center. Catches this lip right here. And then you thread in the nozzle. And the nozzle has a little face here. Let's get rid of the block. And a cup. And when the nozzle comes in, it traps it. There's a little bit of gap here, so you have a little bit of play. And basically, the nozzle just pins the heat break up against the block. That way, if the block ever spins, block, in theory, the nozzle and the block can spin, but the heat break won't move. It'll just spin on it. But everything's sealed because the nozzle pins up into the heat break. And there's your heat break. Cool concept, huh? Is it a cool concept? What do you think? I need to change it a little. Because I think we need to go with a slightly larger threading. But then you don't have that loosening issue. You should be able to cold change your nozzle. You're not putting stress on the heat break when you're changing the nozzle. It just seems like a whole lot better idea. The only downside I can see is, it's extra manufacturing. And I believe that's a similar concept as Slice is using. I'm not positive. But I think Slice has the copper heat break that's kind of pressed fit into the block. And the reason they can do a cold change is you just, the block and the heat break are one. They're one piece. So you're not threading the heat break into the block. It's kind of pressed into it. And then this just slides up into it. Now, you don't have to actually have the nozzle go up inside the heat break with this. My thoughts are the reason to do it is it'll align where you're trapping, where you're trapping the heat break instead of actually threading it. It can move. It can come misaligned with the block. But even still, if the nozzle slides up into the heat break, then it has to stay aligned, even if the block, kind of shifts up or down. Everything stays aligned. The heat break and the nozzle stay aligned because the nozzle actually is inset into the heat break. I think a flat face would do the same thing to a point. I still think it would be better if the nozzle slides up into it. Again, it's a manufacturing thing. And then obviously you leave it a little bit, short so you have play. I mean, if anyone realizes this gap that E3D always wants, that's just so you have, it's tight. That's your playroom between the interface of the nozzle and the heat break. It's the only reason they have this, that I can think of anyways, they have this gap. And so when it's tight to the heat break, it's not tight to the block. That makes sense? So, what's the diameter of a heater core? But yeah, that's my concept. And if you look, you can see the nozzle has a little shelf here that goes up into the heat break. And then the heat break has a little cup that receives it. And then there's a shelf here. And I got a glass texture, so it's a little goofy looking, so you can see through it. This shelf catches the block. So when the nozzle is tightened up into it, the nozzle pins the heat break up into the block and holds it in place. And you can actually enlarge this hole here where the heat break goes through the block. So there's less contact and you have even better cooling of the heat break. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because that might be a mid-temperature transition. I mean, most of you guys know you want a real abrupt transition from hot to cold, where if you open it up, you might have this 2 millimeters of mid-temp that's not hot and it's not cold. It's kind of in between. And that can, the more abrupt, the more instantaneous you go from hot to cold, the better the hot end. So you might want that in contact so it's still heating the plastic. I don't know. It's something more engineering type people could figure out. But I don't know. Is that a good idea? And I'm kind of designing this. If you look at this is very much the Hemera heat break. What is up, Zolan? You want to jump in? Jump in. We need other people input on this. We're going to do a community designed Hotend. not that we're like engineers or anything, know what the hell we're doing. Oh, crap. How big is heater? Pull it out, find out. Get close anyways. Obviously although they're all pretty much the same. Where's the heater? Here's one. Gotta get some chores done. Yeah, I did that already. I was going to actually stream like an hour ago and had too much to do and decided not to. All right. So it's about 6 by, say, 20. 6 by 22 and a half ish. 6 by 22 and a half. Remember that, because I'll forget by the time I get all this back together. I never did mark which one this is. Is this a 24 volt or 12? Maybe I did mark it. I did mark it. What did I say? 6 by 22 or 6 by 24? Yeah, I'm just doing this for fun. Just because we can. You know what I mean? Why not? Right? I think I need to make this block bigger. Even though it looks big, it actually isn't. Look how small it is to the nozzle. Nozzles usually aren't that big. Let's go back and do that, actually. Where's the block? Right around here somewhere. This is the block. Edit, sketch. Okay. Home it. Look on top. Let's make this. They're normally much bigger than that, aren't they? Let's get one out. Just so we have a general idea. They are normally about, this is with the rubber on it, but it's a little over 18 with the silicone on there. Actually, just take the silicone off, dumbass. 16 by 20. $16 by $20. I think I just typed in something. So this should be closer to 20. Why is it doing that one? I don't know what the hell that was all about. Edit, sketch. 20. 16. I think my keyboard got calculated. Make this more like 7. Actually, that's too much. 6. Okay. Oh, maybe I looked at all that. I actually was searching the east, what was I looking at this morning? Slice, the mosquitoes, because you can do the whole idea is you can do a cold change. Yeah, we don't want it to be exact. That would be no fun. All right. So the heater core was what? Actually, escape. I don't even need that. I can just click on that and put a hole in it. Create a hole. Where's my hole? Right here. Put it right there, somewhere in the middle. Let's do 6. The diameter was, what did I say, 6.5 or 7 or something? The hell did I say? Gosh darn it. Here, yep. I can never remember crap. Let's go with 6. It's like 5 and change by 20, right? Yeah, thereabouts. So we'll go 6. And actually, go 5.5 off of that. And I did 6 off of that. So let's do 5.5 there, 5.5. I don't know why, I'm just guessing. Yeah, I'm probably only going to do this for like an hour, but again, I'm not trying to do like reality here. Edit feature. I want it to go all the way through. I wish I could automatically make it the way you want it. Have it default. Okay. And then right here, actually, you know what? We'll do it right here. We'll draw a sketch. And actually, I'll just do a center line through here. Escape. And there's a reason I'm doing this, so I know it's centered on it. And then do this and go 0.5, 0.5, and then do this. Do it again, but you go negative 0.5, negative 0.5. Then I know it's centered. And I can take that and I can knock it out. Okay. And that's my little clampy spot because I much prefer the clampy kind. I gotta darken that a little bit. Appearance. Let's see, it's this one. How do I make it darker? I know there's a way. Advanced. Leaf pattern. Cancel. Actually, let's just go with a glass. Smooth. We can go with a slightly darker one. Let's go with green. See if it darkens it up. It don't look like it darkened it up. Close. Yeah, who cares? Not really important. And I'm not trying to make this realistic. This is just for fun. What I don't have is a thermistor handy without pulling the Hotend apart. Does anyone know offhand what E3D's thermistor is? Because I kind of like their cartridge thermistor. I think it's like a 3mm, isn't it? And let's make that. I'm pretty sure it's 3mm. Uh, 1.75. 3. And it probably won't matter, but it's probably hitting the threads, isn't it? Yep. So let's go back to the heater block, which is right there. I think that was the block. Nope. It's going to be this one. Yep. Edit sketch. Let's make this 7. That works. We should bring the heater core. This could be right there. And that can be right there. And that can be right. That's got to go on that side, so everything references. Yeah, that works. What is up, Greg? Jump in if you want, dude. Here, I'll even repaste it. I think that's the right one. Yep. If anybody wants to hop in, They're more than welcome to. I think I'm going to edit that and kick it over to like 6.5, 6.5. Okay. That way I can get the screw in here, get the screw in there. Why did they change the chat box? What chat box? What are you talking about? Not sure what you're going on about. Edit this one. I want to make this 2, I think. It's even 2. That didn't work as the way I planned, I don't think. Edit feature. 2.5 maybe? I'm going to get it right next to the threads, but not actually in them. That's too close. So 2 is fine. Why did they move the chat box? What chat box? What are you talking about? You talking about this right here, the chat window? That's because you did, I know what you did. View on YouTube. We might have to, I don't know if I got the sound off, so it might feedback for a second after it loads. There we go. View on YouTube. We might have to. Come on, turn it off. It's because you hit this. You hit theater mode. Turn off theater mode. Go back to default, and it'll be on the side here. That's all. And so, yeah, I've done that. I've done that same thing. So anyways, I'm not going to worry about the stupid set screws and all that right now. Actually, why not? Let's put them in there. Let's put a hole. Let's see. The set screws are what? Are they 3mm generally or 2? I'm going to say they're 2. 2s. I really wish they'd stop making the point default. Actually, let's make it go all the way through. Okay. We'll thread this one. Create thread. Model it. Okay. That way it clamps. All's good. Do another. Yep. Yeah, I've done that. Let's create another hole right here. Let's go to the bottom. We're going to actually put it off center. Do it at 2. Doesn't need to go all the way through though. It only needs to go to the heater core. Okay. Because that's just a set screw. Come on. Let me select that damn face. Thread that. Model. Okay. There's your set screw. No. I don't. Dude, I'm doing this for just stupid fun, not for reality reasons. Just because, why not? Okay, there's my heater block. Which this is basically, I mean, obviously I don't have these perfectly positioned. I just guessed. But that's basically a an E3D heater block with slight changes here for this setup. But other than that, it's an E3D heater block. Concept. I mean, size and basic shape and blah, blah, blah. And I might. Should I? Should I put a llama right here? Wonder if I could put my logo on it. Do I have? Let's see. All right, let's do that now. Oops. Save this. Save. Llama logo. I think. Open. Documents. Llama logos. Llama logo 2019. This is the raw. So I get rid of the text. I guess they're all grouped. Layer. No, I guess they're not all grouped. Why is the text not deleting? There it goes. Now, if I take this, oh, I gotta ungroup it. Selection. Do I? Ungroup. I don't know. Let's just take this and file export as SVG, right? Raster. I don't know what I'm doing here. Digital for high quality, SVG flattened, SVG for export, selection without background, more. There's something I have to do here and I don't remember what it is to make it actually import into Fusion. Yeah, let's just export it to the desktop, see what happens. And insert SVG on there. Let's go get the file. Okay, where is it? How come I don't see it? See, I know there's something I got to do to make it show. Maybe I shouldn't do it on. Okay. Aha, that's it. I got to scale it down. I got it too big. That's what it is. It's just too frickin' big. Let's start that over. All right. Let's insert the SVG. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I don't do SVGs too often. I think I've done it like a half a dozen times in the whole years and years and years I've used Fusion. Where is it? There it is. So I want to move it up there. And I want to downsize it quite a bit. Move it back down there. And downsize it quite a bit more. And move it over there. And maybe even a little bit more. Okay. There it is. Now if we take that and we extrude it like 0.2, boom, we have a llama logo. And did it just make it? Edit. Edit. Join. There we go. We have a llama logo on it. I didn't even know I could actually do that, but that's pretty cool. All right. So now the llama logo's on there. I got to be right back. I got to go pee really, really badly. Bring the appearance and make it solid again so we can actually see it close. Look at that. It has a llama logo on the frickin' heat break, on the heat block, excuse me. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta pee. Really, really badly. All right, I'm back. So, now let's do the cold end. Now that we have a llama embezzled heater block. That's just sad. That's really, really sad. So we put a little bit of a round on that. 0.2. Sure, why not? Makes it look better. Okay. Now, the next thing is the upper part here. So let's start a new sketch. We'll do it. I don't want to do it on that face. Command Z. Start a new sketch. Make the bodies disappear. Do it on the origin. Make the bodies come back. And let's just draw a big old block because I have no idea what I'm doing. Project. That. Okay. Now let's draw a big old block. Let's see. 28. Yeah, 28. 28. 10. 28. 82. 28. Turn. And let's solidify it. We'll go symmetrical. Total. Let's just do 2 millimeters. 2. Just to give us something to work with. New body. Okay. Hey, there we go. That's our heater. That's our cooling end. Crap. This is the part I don't know what I want to do with. It's kind of square. Well, it is square. Because they're always square because your motors are square. This is definitely going to be a direct drive. That's just a plate. I may not leave it. It's just an idea. Make it all slices. Well, I like the Mara / what was the one that E3D had bid before that? I want a direct drive. And you want it nah, I don't. I kind of like the Hemera better than the slice. I don't want to have to. Although if we did something like this slice, not sure. I like the concept of the Hemera. I really, really like my Hemera. They're far from perfect, though. And one of my biggest complaints is this whole setup with their weak little heat break and the way you have to tighten it the classic way of tightening the nozzle into the heat break makes this heat break really easy to screw up. I think that, matter of fact, I think my one, I've bent 2 of them, I think now. I think it's bent from me torquing the nozzle and not grabbing the block as well as I should. And when I torque the nozzle, I think I tweaked the heat break. Where this way, the way I have this now, with the where the nozzle actually slips up inside and the heat break doesn't thread to the heat block, it just gets trapped by the nozzle tightening up into it. You're less likely to do that. Well, it won't extrude right. You'll always get you won't get a flat extrusion. You'll get kind of an angle. So you'll always have that one area that's higher and blah, blah, blah. That one prints a whole lot better. Now that's also a 0.6 nozzle, and this is a 0.8 nozzle, but I'm getting like a ridge on that, which is telling me it's not. Either I don't have the whole carriage square to the build plate that much, which it's darn close that I shouldn't be getting that, or I've bent or the nozzle's just worn out, which I highly doubt. But it is I don't think it's a tool steel nozzle. I think it's a coated brass nozzle. I can't remember. So I might have worn a nozzle out on one side. Anything's possible. So, buttons. Concepts. Come on, guys. Somebody's got to jump in here. Jump in here. I need verbal concept. Jump in. Hang out. Need people. Who's all watching? We got 7 people watching. Need input. Community built Hotend. I kind of don't even want to thread this. I'd almost like it better if it was just slid in, and I think who does it? Isn't it Nova or one of those where it's just slipped up in there to friction fit, and then you put a set screw into it? The advantage of threading it is I think you get better heat transfer / contact than just a flat face, because each thread, even though each thread's like a fin, just like an air fin when you're cooling with the air, it's a fin contacting the heat break to the heater, what do you call it? Heat distribution. There's a word for it. The heater cooling thing. Fins. Cool and cold end, whatever. There's a word. Can't think of it right now, but there's a word. How's the pumpkin doing? 74%. Printing away. I definitely want it geared, but the whole dual gears meshing, the more I look into that, the more I study it, the more I've used it. I mean, the Bontek's wicked sweet, don't get me wrong, the Himera's all right, but single gears work fine. If you're having a problem with it jamming from a single gear, you have some other problem. Does that make sense? You're not fixing the problem. You're just forcing the filament past the problem. That's what the Bontek does, which sometimes can be beneficial. But the Himera, the one thing I dislike about the Himera is the gears. I don't know what it is about them. I think the teeth, I don't have a set of Bontek next to it to compare, but I think the teeth are smaller, and they seem to fill up and jam and slip way more than the Bontek's. They do not have the same gripping power, and they fill up. I think they're actually smaller teeth than Himera, and they don't clean themselves well. Then they bind and fill up and don't bind. They end up slipping. So, and you just don't need to dual gear. It's a unnecessary thing. A single gear, the MK8 from way back, just works. Somebody popped in. So, what's up, dude?
Putting pants on before I get on camera.
That might be a good idea. I was just going to say there's no Zolan. All I'm seeing is Zolan desk.
Had to do some chores first.
Pants? Who wants pants? Who needs pants? We're in a pandemic. I'm wearing shorts.
I don't know where my shorts went. I don't normally wear shorts.
I love shorts. I wear shorts in the middle of the winter if I can.
Oh, I would too.
Most of the winter.
My issue is I get self-conscious because I have eczema.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
So my legs look horrible half the time.
Yeah, my legs are just covered in hair and swollen and beat up. And oh, look at that! He's got real pants on, like pants with a belt and everything. It looked like.
That's all I own. I own 2 pair of jeans. That's it. Everything else is slacks.
Why?
And they're stretchy.
Stretchy. Well, that's why. I don't know if you've heard of Duluth Trading.
Yep. Duluth Trading Co. does not make pants long enough for me.
They make flex fit, like
the flex
canvas pants and jeans, and oh my God, they are awesome. That's all I buy now.
They don't fit me. They don't make a size that fits me.
How the hell do they not make a size? They make one for everybody.
They do not make inseam lengths of 36 inches or more.
Yeah, they do.
No, they do not. Trust me, I've looked many times. I got my granddaughters live in Duluth.
I mean, that's all I buy now. I stopped buying anything else. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're expensive."
I wanted to.
I found it. Wanted to. If you wait for the sales, they're not that much more than basic jeans. Nope. And oh my God, like a pair of Levi's or what are the other ones? The basic jeans you buy, they last me a year, maybe 2. Duluth Trading, I've had Duluth Trading to the point where they're like shredding, and the bottom, they're so like worn out, and you just
at a 36-inch inseam, which is new. They didn't have that before when I looked about 6 months ago. The largest waist they go is a 40, and I'm a 42.
Whoa, you're that big?
I'm 6'9".
42.
42 by 36.
Waist. They go all the way up to 50.
Not with a 36-inch seam.
Yeah.
Okay, let me grab this.
Oh, no, it checks it out. You're right. It only goes up to 40. It only goes to 40. Well, that's kind of screwy. If you contact them, they'll make them.
I have.
And they wouldn't make them? Because they made special ones for me.
The draw for that size is not big enough. It's exactly what they told me.
Jesus, how tall are you?
6'9".
Oh, so you're just a tiny little guy.
6'9", 251 pounds, and I just weighed myself.
You're a tiny little guy. You're only about that tall. Freaking 6'9", man. You're freaking huge.
Yeah.
Viking is what, 6'3" or 6'4"? Jesus, you tower over me.
Corona bottle?
Yeah, I can't see it because you got your little
quadcopter. I'm almost touching.
You got your quadcopter picture in the way.
Yeah, I saw that. This way. There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, my thumb and finger almost touch going around a Corona bottle.
Yeah, I can do that too, but sure.
No, the problem is this, because of that, it makes soldering hard. It makes anything fine detail a pain in the ass.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way because I don't have long fingers, but I got really fat fingers.
Yep.
Even before I got fat, I had fat fingers just because I did construction, so they're real, they're muscly, fat, and I can't do anything super fine anymore. I couldn't for years.
In high school, I wore a 32 by 36. I had a 32-inch waist.
Yeah. I had a 28-inch waist in high school. I wore 28 32s.
Yeah, I had to get all of my pants custom made at that point.
And now I wear 36 30s. Because I've gotten shorter and I've gotten fatter.
I actually can wear a 40, but I get a 42 because I carry an inner waistband holster.
Yeah. Well, if you did the 40s, they have the 40.
Yes.
And they are the flex,
which is new. But I need to lose a little more weight before I drop that kind of money.
But they're flex.
I know.
I get the 36, and right now I'm more like a 37 or a 38 because I put on too much weight this year. And I can still wear them and comfortably. They're not pinching me.
I until
I love
the quarantine hit, I got up to 290 pounds. And since quarantine, I am now at 251.
So anyway.
Yep, exactly. So anyway,
Duluth
where were
training
you on
pants
this?
are awesome. If you haven't tried Duluth training pants, people, buy yourself a pair. Wait until the sales, because I always wait till the sales, and they always have the misstitched one where there's a stitch or something off, and you can save like ridiculous amounts of money. I get them like half price. I think the cheapest I've gotten was like $22 for a pair of pants.
Okay, so next time you see them go that low, send me a quick message on Twitter or something, and I'll go buy a pair just to see how they fit me.
Well, that's the other thing is you can send them back too. If they don't fit, they give you a 30-day free send back.
Yeah, but is it on their dime or my dime to send it back?
The only thing you do pay is you pay the shipping to return them. But you don't pay the shipping the other way.
If I get 40-36s and they don't fit, they go in a bin until I lose enough weight to make them fit. Because as I said, I used to be a 32-inch waist. I can get down to a 36 if I really try. Yeah,
I keep saying that too. I've got some 32s and some 34s in the closet that I'm someday going to fit into. I keep telling myself. Not happening.
I kept all my 40s. So that way, when I lose weight, I knew I'd have pants and I wouldn't have to rebuy everything.
Yeah. Again, that's the good thing about those flex fit ones is you'd be a little big, you'd be a little small, and they still fit. Anyway, so back to our little hot end thing here.
Yeah, you're doing hot end stuff. I'm doing soldering.
Screw the soldering. Let's do hot end stuff.
It's hot.
So what am I going to do now?
I don't know.
How big is the motor? 40? They're 40 by 40, right?
How big is what?
A motor, a NEMA 17 or 40 by 40.
40 by 40.
So I need to actually make this 40 by 40.
It depends because NEMA 17 is a class of motor, not the actual motor size.
Yeah, I know. But
hang on.
Pretty much standardized is the size now.
I have one right here. Let me see
if 40 by 40, right?
It's a 42 by 40. So let me find one of my measuring devices here. It won't be calipers.
But the head's square.
I don't know where the calipers are. Okay,
the 42 is the depth.
So it should be 4 centimeters. So 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. Yep.
Yeah,
40 by 40.
40 by 40. With the threading is 32 by 32, I think, too. The center.
The threading?
Yeah, for the mounting holes.
Oh, where the mounting holes are. Center to center is 30 by 30. 32. Yeah, you're right. 32 by 32.
Pretty sure it was 32.
Yep.
Look at how awesomely clean that printed. Oh, you can't see it.
Nice.
That is awesome.
That's on the llama cord?
No, that's on the llama core's not. I got to figure out what's going on. I think it's just the 0.8 nozzle. That's on the Pumpkin King. That is for the Pumpkin King. That's my new design. I'm going to call it the Batwing freaking cooling because it kind of looks like a Batman cape. Bat cape cooling. And that is written a burning orange.
Yes.
Mystery orange. I love that crap.
There's that orange and the not neon but almost neon green are my two favorite colors for printing. This green.
That's the other thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got to do it. This is PLA."
Yeah, this is PLA.
Everyone's like, "Oh, the cooling fins have to be PETG." No, they don't. I never have a problem with them. Now, on that note, I print mostly PLA. So
that's PLA. And I printed up to carbon fiber PETG with it with no issue.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I don't print a lot of PETG. I don't print ABS a lot. I mean, I print PETG on occasion, but I'm always running cooling, so it doesn't get that hot.
I should have said this is it is PLA, but it's actually 3D Fuel PLA Plus or Pro.
HT PLA, not Plus. That's an HT.
No, it's PLA, Pro. Right? They call it Pro.
Yeah, but that's an HT. That's the 850 or 870 resin. It's not.
I printed that at 210 Celsius.
Really nice.
Oh yeah.
perfect that came out.
And the nice thing is now that you know how well
No
that printed in
support for
PLA,
nothing.
if you were to print that in ABS or ASA later, you know, and once you get those dialed in, you know it's going to work.
Polycarbonate.
Yeah, I wish.
If I were going to do this again, I'd do it in polycarbonate. I wouldn't even bother. I mean, PETG, I just have a lot of problems with PETG. I don't know if it's just I can't get the setting quite right.
You just have a lot of problems.
I never have good luck with PETG.
I do. What I don't have good luck with is cheaper PLA. Me and cheap PLA do not get along.
See, I have no problems with pretty much any PLA. Let's print them out. All right. Back to the drawing board, literally. So
I need 3 hands is what I need.
NEMA 17 was 40 by 40 with 32.
I need a way to clamp that camera and yet not lose.
So it needs to be 40 by 40.
No.
Whoops. Tab 40, which is going to... Okay, why is it not taking the tab anymore? Tab. Tab's supposed to bring it to the other dimension.
I have no clue. As I said, Fusion and I don't get along. Maybe it's just me being here.
No, I have found in the last 2 days working on this thing, on this Vandux, there is a lot of stuff that's like broken in Fusion right now. A lot.
Oh, no. I don't want to hear that.
A lot. I've found a lot of extrusions. Like I have to double extrude it. Like if I start extruding something, it'll error. But if I bring it back, like if I want to extrude 20 millimeters, if I bring it back to 10 and stop and then re-extrude the other 10, that's 2 separate extrusions that work. Which makes no freaking sense.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense.
And I've done that a couple of things. Now, I am doing it through kind of bizarre, lofted angles and, it's not your standard square and round geometry. It's definitely some little higher detailed geometry, but odd geometry, I say, not necessarily more detailed. It's just odd, but it shouldn't do that. Finish sketch. Wait, no, I want to change that because edit sketch. I want to take that and get rid of these because I want to lift it. Okay, stop. I want to get that. Goodbye. Now we should be able to lift it. Come on. Why can't I lift it? What else is still locked? Oh, it's locked to this. Delete. I just want to get rid of that. There we go. Now I should be able to move it. Still didn't want to. It's just acting really weird lately. Delete. 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 Just draw a line then from the center. Straight up. Escape. Make it a reference. Construction line. Then do this. Verify that. 40. Whoops. 42. 42. That way I got some room around the motor. Finish sketch. Change extrude.
So Marcus Adams, my Fusion 360 no longer auto looks at new selections even though the setting is enabled. That's not good to be hearing for a software that costs so much if you're doing anything for profit.
Well, if I were doing it for profit, I wouldn't buy Fusion. I'd buy Inventor.
SolidWorks or something. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't get SolidWorks. I played with SolidWorks. I shouldn't say that. It's been like 15 years since I used SolidWorks. Although actually no, because I was at my brother's.
No. Sorry, not you. I'm talking to my dog.
SolidWorks is, I don't know. My brother owns he doesn't own it. He's like the main engineer dude at a electronics boards company. He builds boards for coin ops.
Ah,
They don't really call it coin op anymore. They call it card slot because nobody uses coins anymore.
yep.
Everyone uses their credit card. But he designs the custom boards. So, like, if you go to a laundromat and you slide your credit card or put a coin in, that little board in the box, his company more than likely designed it. They're like one of 3 in the world that does the actual. They don't manufacture them; they design them. Then they ship it out to someone to manufacture it. Get what I'm saying? Anyway, they hired a bunch of new engineers for the mechanical ends of things, and they were young and said, "Oh, we want SolidWorks." So they went out and bought SolidWorks, and within 6 months' time, all 4 of them are now preferring Inventor or Fusion.
Not shocked.
Because it's just easier. And playing with it, I mean, I've gone in there because before they just bought some 3D printers, but before they were giving me a couple of bucks every once in a while, and I would 3D print them a fake board. They design a board, send me the step file, and I'd print it. So they had a physical model to then test fit like the cases and other parts while they were off having a demo manufactured.
So, right. That way they could have an example board to know how it would fit in the case, and then they have the real board when they actually get that far.
Because with the machines and the vibrations, they have to put dampeners and everything on the electronics crap. So they have to make sure it fits and will, the card slots will stay and line up even though it's vibrating and all kinds of bull crap. Anyway, what's up, Marcus? Where the hell was I?
Viking.
Anyway, most of those guys have gone over to Fusion. Almost all of them have. They still have their licenses for
the other software.
Yeah. But they almost all use Fusion or Inventor. I think they've all gone over to Inventor. More because if they're going to pay for it, Inventor's slightly better for what they're doing. It's more geared to their. Not that it's any better. It's better geared for what they're doing. I don't really know the difference between Inventor and Fusion. I don't think there's a whole lot. I think Fusion is more of a lightweight, do-it-all kind of version of Inventor. Because Fusion actually does more, from what I understand. Inventor doesn't do any of the CAD or CAM stuff. And I don't know. Anyway.
Ow.
Let's put... we need the center.
I can see how this morning's going to go.
I don't want a new sketch. Finish sketch. Command Z. Command Z. Command Z. We can go right to this sketch. Edit that. And we can go and do, I'm pretty sure it was 32. 32 tab.
So did Greg say where he was going? Because I haven't seen him talk in a while.
No, I thought he was going to hop in, but whatever.
I actually have some drone questions for him.
And then I think they're 2s or 3s? 3. Pretty sure they're 3. Let's do a rectangular pattern. Actually, I want to do a circular pattern. Circular pattern. And select that. And my center point's here. And I want to do... they changed this too. I used to be able to grab this and make this window bigger, longer. Now I have to actually scroll. And there's my screw holes. Finish sketch. And then when I extrude this, edit feature, and now just knock out the holes ahead of time for the motor. Boom, done. Save before it freaks out. It's freaking out too, just because I'm streaming at the same time. StreamYard's this latest version of StreamYard seems to be drawing more
CPU utilization. I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, more everything. Since I think it's because of the video update. It's processing more on your end now than it used to. Because even the 720 is higher resolution or higher quality or whatever, and I think that processing is getting done on your end, not on their end, which is fine.
Well, yeah, because you're just sending them a stream.
Yeah.
Your end is doing it. And I have a feeling that because it's done in a browser, hardware encode decode is not working. So you're not taking advantage of your GPU.
I don't have one anyway, so.
Yeah, you do. You have to.
Nope.
Llama, you wouldn't have video without a GPU. It's either built into the CPU or it's built into a separate chipset.
It's not separate, is what I meant.
You don't have a what do they call it? A discrete. You have a discrete GPU instead of a whatever.
Yeah, it's built into it's shared with the processor in the Mac Minis. Actually, you know what? I think the newer ones, which this is a mid newer one. I think it has a partial and then partial or something. I don't know. I can't remember now.
I think Mac Minis have an NVIDIA hang on. What mini?
2014. I know the new one has a separate and shares. Like if you overload it, it's like 256 meg individual, and then it shares the CPU if you go over that 256. If that makes sense, or so I don't know. I don't know enough about that crap to. I just know it's pretty. That's the biggest downfall of the Mini is the GPU sucks. Let's just do it at 5. And that clamps onto that.
So, do you know what processor you have?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I answered my own questions.
They're all the same, I think, with this particular one.
Yeah, that one you're running
all core Intel i5 2.6.
2.6. Okay, that means you have the Intel Iris graphic chip, and that is built into the CPU.
Yeah. So it's a graphic chip, but not a graphic card.
It's yes.
Yeah.
You don't have a dedicated graphics card.
Right.
But you still have a GPU. And it still has which means you can still take advantage of hardware offload.
Yep. But it's slacking. It has no nut behind it at all.
it shares the same memory bus as your CPU.
It's better than what I had, because this is actually Brian Vine's computer. He sent me this.
Oh, nice.
It was sitting in his closet, and he found out because my old one, I had basically the same thing, but a 2010, and the graphics was so bad in it, I literally could not watch like YouTube videos over 720. If they were like 1080p, it wouldn't draw. It would just skip and sputter and spit out crap. And I was bitching about it one day, and he's like, dude, I got like 4 of these in my closet. You want one? I was like, sure. Nice. I thought he was joking, and like a week later, there it was in the mail. I was like, thanks, Brian. Brian's the man.
I hate.
Well, I guess his law firm is mostly run on Macs, which I find odd.
Actually, fairly common, because for a while there, Macs were considered the only secure, the only approved secure device for certain things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like my brother still has a BlackBerry. I didn't even know they still existed.
They are actually phasing out over the next 2 years. BlackBerry Enterprise server is not going to have any new upgrades.
Because they're supposedly the only secure, the most secure.
They were. They have actually been usurped by Samsung thanks to Samsung Knox.
This one actually I'm current. I'm up to date. This is the Big Sur that's coming out next month, supposedly. Because Apple does a new OS almost every year on September. And then they update it. Big Sur comes out, I believe, next month or September or October it's coming out. And this will not do Big Sur. It is doing Catalina. It won't do
But it's
Big
old
Sur.
enough that it won't be able to do Big Sur.
I really don't care. I don't really want Big Sur. Big Sur is just if I didn't known what I know now, I wouldn't have done Catalina. I would have left it at whatever the last one was. I can't remember what the last one was because they killed all 32-bit apps when you went Catalina. Everything 64 or better. And Big Sur is going to be iPad centric because Apple's converting everything to the Apple Silicon, which is what all the iPads and iPhones are using. So all your processing and all your apps are going to be based on the new Apple Silicon. And you're going to be using a Big Sur is going to make all your old apps work on a simulator or whatever you want to call it to run if it's not running Apple Silicon, which is actually going to slow down
even more. Yep.
Unless you're running anything running an Intel chip gets slower. And if you're running Apple Silicon chip, which isn't even out yet, I mean it is because the iPads and the iPhones have been running them for years, but they're not in the computers yet. Those will be much, much faster, supposedly. Big quotation marks. But we'll see. Anyway, you can't complain. I mean, for all Apple's hardware is backdated in the sense that they're still using i3s and stuff when charging for the price of an i7 or whatever. They last forever. I mean, the only limitations I have now is they've gotten so old, the OS just doesn't support it anymore. They still work fine. My old one still works fine. It just, you can't watch a YouTube video anything over 720p because it just won't play. The graphics card is too crappy. So let's put like cool fin things on here like the Humera is. So there's a center port. Where's the center? Center. Come on. I know you want it. There it is.
Okay.
And what's a normal thingy like 10? Let's just go 10. And let's offset it by 1.5. And then, I don't know, let's do some swirly crap like Tamara is, because I don't know, why not, right?
Sure.
Escape. Oh, damn it. It's the only one you don't hit escape with. I keep forgetting that. You gotta actually hit return or hit the little check mark here. Now I can hit escape. Now I can adjust all my bends and move things around. And I actually don't hate that. So let's offset that. Okay. Well,
that's a little better. I hear a phone.
You can hear my phone ringing in the other room?
Yep.
I can barely hear that. It's like all the way down the hallway in my mother's old bedroom.
My ear infection and sinus infection is pretty much clear now. And I haven't.
I didn't think the mic would pick it up. This mic's pretty sensitive and all, but
my hearing is really good normally.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't think this mic would pick it up.
Oh, it did.
Let's do some kind of archy thing here just for fun.
Damn it. Did it again. Maybe. Maybe not. It's not a very good solder, but we'll give it a shot.
I have no idea what I'm doing here, just so you know.
Neither do I.
I guess that was kind of pointless because it doesn't really
Cool. It actually worked. Okay.
follow it, but sure. That off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. I don't know what I'm doing. Escape. So these are going to be my fin kind of core idea, like the Chimera. There'll be more of them later. Let's just do it. Like, I don't know. What are they doing? 3 or 4 or 5 degree millimeters? I think they're 5.
Fucking seriously? Damn it.
What'd you do?
I soldered the wire to the wrong pad, and now it won't melt so I can get it off. Come on!
That sounds like something I would do.
Oh, I suck at soldering, and I know it.
I am the worst at soldering, dude. I've gotten a lot better. I will give myself a little credit. I have definitely gotten better over the years.
I used to be good, but I haven't really soldered anything since I got my eyes done. The PRK thing. And
Whatever.
I used to be nearsighted. I went and did the old version of LASIK. Chat's awfully quiet today.
Yeah, not too many people were in here today, which is kind of surprising where it's Saturday, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, it is Saturday. Why did I think it was Sunday already? Damn.
I wish it was.
Oh, God, no. I don't want to go back to work yet.
Well, morning constraints. Yeah, I don't care about your constraints.
God damn it. Every time I go to take the heat off, I jump and my wire moves to the other pad. Okay. And I lost the green wire. There it is.
I don't need this little juggernaut there, but whatever. Anyway, that's the concept of using like the Chimera frickin' fins, which I'll fill in later.
Well, that link I gave you is an actual 3D representation in pieces of the Chimera.
I have that already. I don't want a copy. This part I really don't care about. I was more worried about this whole thing. I mean, I don't know if you agree. I mean,
I don't know what you're trying to do.
All right. Normally, when you do pretty much anything but the slice engineering setup with the nozzle, the heat block, and the heat break.
Right.
Okay. The heat break and the nozzle thread into the block, counter to each other, and that's how you tighten it.
Right. One goes clockwise, one goes counterclockwise.
Yeah, whatever. The thing about it is, if like you get like a curl or something in your print, and the heat block gets hit, it can unspin the block, and that separates the two.
Ah.
Because the heat break is stationary to the fins.
Right.
What the hell is the name of it? Heat sink. That was the word I've been looking for all day. The heat sink. I knew it was heat, not cold. It was heat. It's heat sink. The heat sink holds the heat break stationary. So if the block spins, the nozzle and the heat break separate. What I did here, if you look at it, is I made the heat break not thread into the heat block, but it's a little cup that you just slide it up from the bottom, slide it up into it, and it's a cup and sits there. And when you tighten the nozzle sets into the heat break just a little bit and traps it, keeping them both in line and pinning the heat break up into the heat block. So if the heat block spins, the nozzle and the heat block spin in theory, and the heat break stays stationary. It'll just rotate on it. In theory, it probably won't, but they shouldn't come undone.
Right.
Get what I'm saying?
Kinda.
And
The only issue I'm having with it is it doesn't make sense on how it's gonna trap.
Right here, if you look at it.
Hang on, I'm looking at a soldering pad. Just a quick second.
So let me take the heat block and make that clear again.
Hang on, my wife's calling.
Anybody else want to jump in here, please? Need more people. Anyway, so yeah, that gets trapped in there, heat block, and it actually pins it up into it. So anyway, that should be bigger. He was soldering something on his drone, I think. And I can get rid of that eventually too. Actually, let's just do it now. Well, you want to do that, Command Z. Let's just get rid of that one. Can I delete that? Delete coincidence. Actually, I can just trim it. Trim that. Oops, Command Z. I want to trim that.
One of our dogs has decided chewing on her paw might be an option.
Escape. If I move this, can I move this? Won't let me. Yeah, it's deforming everything, but who cares? Put that there. Finish sketch. It's got all kinds of weird crap in there, but who cares? I'm not trying to make it exact. Anyway, so back to what I was trying to describe to you. If you look, can you see that? Let me make that. You see what's going on there, Mr. Zolan?
Yeah, I see it, but
it clamps it up into it. This is just a shelf.
Right, but what's going to hold the heat block in position then?
The nozzle still threads in and clamps everything.
Okay, so what is the heat break actually threading into something?
No, it doesn't need to. That's the
Then
point.
what holds the heat break?
The clamp.
What is it clamping
There's a
to?
shelf here, so when you tighten the nozzle, it pins the
Okay, here's
heat
why I'm
break up into
hang
the
on.
heat block.
So here are some heat breaks. This is actually a Hemera heat break, the titanium one I just
Yeah,
got.
no, you got to change the heat break.
So it's not the normal Hemera heat break is what you're saying.
No, this heat break, if you look, I'm going to get rid of the heat block. If you look real close, the nozzle actually sets up inside slightly the heat break, and the heat break cups the nozzle. So when you tighten the nozzle, that cup gets tightened to the nozzle, and because of this shelf, it gets tightened into the block.
Does the heat break feed in then from underneath?
Yes, you'd have to slide it into the block
from underneath.
And the nozzle screws up and clamps the whole thing in place.
That's what I was missing. So the heat break has a flange that cup catches, and it catches it because you've gone up through the same hole from underneath that the nozzle's going into.
Right, and that clamps everything in place. Where the nozzle slightly sets inside that cup, it will make sure it stays aligned.
Right.
So if something got in there, the block and stuff wouldn't rock a little bit.
But you understand why it was confusing me, because I'm like, comes in from the top. So what's clamping it?
The heat break doesn't come in from the top. It slides in from the bottom. You'd have to
we're on the same page
and then screw the nozzle into place.
The
point is, though, now you can cold change your nozzle because the temperature won't matter anymore. It won't be just like the slice. It's the same concept,
right?
Because you're pinning it. It doesn't matter if it expands the cracks. It just tightens it.
I actually have not seen a slice engineering setup yet.
Well, slice has a similar concept of this. The only difference is the heat break is kind of pressed into the block,
right?
So but it's the same concept. It's a cup that instead of a cup pinning it, you just pin a regular V6 nozzle to it, and the cup of the heat break is already built into the heat block.
Okay.
And it's basically pressed into the heat block.
So the V6 heat break doesn't have threads on the bottom of the heat break?
Slice doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Slice has no threading on the bottom. It's pressed into the block.
Perfect. That's okay.
It's the same concept as this. It's a cup. And actually, I think it's copper, so when you tighten the nozzle up to it, it's kind of soft, and the copper acts like a, seal. It'll squish enough to seal it.
Right.
Because you can use the regular V6 nozzle on a copperhead, supposedly, right? Yes.
I don't know.
I believe so. I'm not positive. I know you can use Slice's nozzle on a V6. I don't know if you can use a V6 nozzle on a Slice. I believe you can. He's not dropping off more wood chips, is he? Oh, he is. Where's he putting them? That's all right. Jesus, I got like 5 piles of wood chips now where my knee's all banged up. I haven't been out there. And he keeps bringing more. I should just text him and say, no more! But the minute I do that, he won't bring any more ever again because he'll pawn it off on someone else. So you just got to start spreading them. It's raining today. I can't believe he's even out today. It's been raining all morning. Tree guy working in the rain. Anyway, so
Marcus,
theory,
if you're still watching, I am working on modifying one of my drones to have better range for video and receive.
Yeah. So in theory, this should allow for multiple things. One, you could spin the block any direction you want, and it'll stay there for any cooling ducts. If it gets hit, it shouldn't, in theory, come undone. And it should just seal better. You should be able to cold change it. As long as you use a semi-soft, like stainless steel for the heat break, so it'll compression seal. Because if you use a hardened nozzle and a softer stainless steel, it'll act like just like plumbing clamps do, like hot water and cold water plumbing clamps. You use a softer stainless steel or copper, And the minute you
Unless
compress
it's a
it,
PEX.
it's a soft enough metal that it auto seals itself.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, this is actually better. Now,
Well, and the nice thing about that setup is if you put the boron, the thermal compound on the heat break and on the nozzle threads, when you shove it up all in there, it'll get good seal and contact against everything.
yeah, as long as it doesn't get into your filament path.
Well, if with this design, it shouldn't, because we're talking about the outside of the
Yeah,
tube
that's
pieces.
true. I mean, as long as you don't touch this to the sidewall when you slide it in there.
Yep.
It should
Because
actually.
if you have that nozzle tight enough, there's no gap between the heat break because the cup keeps it from being able to go up any.
Right.
So in theory,
Yeah.
even if you touch the side of the cup, it shouldn't matter because it's the heat break and the nozzle that are touching.
Right.
I'm not saying this for fact. I'm just hypothesizing.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is all theory to me too, dude. I'm just doing this for fun because I was goofing around today, and I actually did. I don't know if you've been watching. I've been doing the little ducts
DUCT, yeah,
for the Hemera lately, and I hit the block and I loosened it up on the llama core, and I had to freaking heat it up and retighten it.
That is my
that's obnoxious.
My biggest complaint about the Hemera is if I want to change a nozzle, I have to worry about everything changing for height and everything because things move.
Yeah, that's exactly where this shouldn't. Once you have it set, and that's the other thing is, I want this block spin backwards because the way they have it, the block is forwards. It's hard to get the duct to the nozzle,
right?
Because the block's in the way. So you either have to bring the duct way down and then blow across, which brings the duct really close to your printing. And if you get a curl or anything, you're going to hit it, and then the block comes loose. Or you spin the block backwards, like I did, and then things aren't quite really where they should be. The nozzle's a little too close to the block, and you have to worry about it hitting the nozzle, tightening to the block before it tightens to the heat break. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Where this should alleviate all of that. Now, the downside of this is manufacturing is like twice as much for both the nozzle and the heat break and the heat block.
Well, and you have to, and I don't know, do you have to get permission to do that from E3D? Well, if you're going to sell it, yeah.
No, there's nothing here E3D, really.
Well, if you're going to get a custom heat break that fits into the Hemera direct drive setup.
Yeah. Again, if somebody wanted to manufacture this, probably.
Well, no, only if they were going to resell.
Yeah, like I said, manufacture it for resale. If you're going to manufacture it, you might as well resell it because otherwise it'd cost you like $500,000.
Well, and no, you need to find somebody who's got a lathe.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating, but yeah, it would cost a buttload of money to just manufacture a one-off.
I wonder if you were to send that design concept to E3D, if they'd make one and send it to you to test.
Yeah. Hey, E3D, you watching? Oh, wait, not.
Hey, I'd test it if they're willing to make it.
I'd test it in a heartbeat. Because I think this is a better concept in the long run. But again, manufacturing there's more steps to the manufacturing. Because like the heat block now, they just drill it out and then freaking do a 6 millimeter threading. Boom, done. Where this has got multiple steps and cores and threading, and you're almost doubling the manufacture to the heat block. You're almost doubling the same issue with the nozzle. The only thing that might be actually easier is the heat break, because even though there's more stepping to the profile of it, you're not having to thread any of it.
Right.
None of it has to be threaded, except for the very top where it threads into the heat sink. But I think in the long run, it would be stronger too. It would be a stronger bond. You'd get better contact between the nozzle and the heat block. You'd have better insulation from the heat block to the heat break to the heat sink. So your heat break should in theory work better. I mean, again, I'm no engineer, but I do think that's a better concept in the long run. And I think if they do it, they need to put the llama logo on it. It can't have E3D. It's got to have a llama logo.
Yep.
Must have llama logo. Oh, because Greg said I should put it on there.
I was wondering where that came from.
Greg was watching. He's like, dude, you need to put the llama logo on the block. I was like, okay. So now it's got the llama logo on there. So anyway, I think I'm about done with that. What time is it? It's 11:30 already. I've been going for almost an hour and a half, over an hour and a half. I wasn't planning on streaming this long. So E3D, I know you're watching because I'm just that popular. You need to make this for me, and me and Zolan will test it, and I'm sure half a dozen other people will. And because you got a Humera too, right?
I got 3 of them.
Oh, I only got 2. What the hell? What good are you, man? With 3 of them, freaking loser.
I got 1 backup, and I have 1 on my Ender extender and 1 on my Franken Ender.
So you got to try my cooling system because I think this is the bomb. I think this is going to work the best. Because since my last model, last night I put one on and I tested it, and it was still right at the mouth of the nozzle, right here at the mouth of the nozzle, was still my lowest air pressure. So I actually pitched the center duct down real steep comparatively to what it was. So it's actually blowing down instead of across more. So it's hitting that area more, and it just looks cool, man. It looks like a bat cape. It looks like the bat cape. Our dog would trim her own nails by chewing on them. Good for her.
That was in response to my wife having me look at the
because the way there's 3 materials in contact, all by separate threadings with an E3D. You have the stainless steel of the heat break, you have the aluminum or copper if you got a copper block, and then you have either brass or tool steel nozzle. And the problem is you have 2 separate materials threading into a third material. And when you have the 2 separate materials, the stainless steel and generally tool steel or copper or brass, threading together as a tension, the minute you heat it, all 3 materials change shape.
Well, and you start ending up with, I don't remember the correct word, the interaction of different metal types causing oxidation.
Yeah, that's not so much an issue with what we use, but you basically get contraction and change of shape and so on and so forth. And because of it, the stainless steel shrinks and the aluminum shrinks and the brass expands and they separate. The stainless steel heat break will separate from the brass nozzle. So you need to tighten it while it's hot because everything contracts when it heats up. The slice, that's same concept, but the heat break is not threaded. The only threading is the nozzle to the heat block. So once you tighten it, and because I believe it's copper, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it's copper for the heat break on the slice, it's a softer material. So when you tighten it, the nozzle actually embeds slightly into it. I don't know if you ever did plumbing, but we have compression fittings with plumbing, because Marcus was asking. Brass and copper are soft, and when you compress them, they seal. You can actually get a watertight seal out of them by compressing them, and that seal won't change with heat to a point. I mean, if you get to certain extremes, it still will. But because it's soft enough that you embed into it slightly, you actually cut into the material very slightly, it seals. So even though you heat it up, that seal stays. It doesn't expand or contract or separate when it still expands and contracts. It just doesn't separate when it expands and contracts because you're only using one threaded interface, not two. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Basically, you're using two threaded interfaces with a V6. You're using the stainless steel to the aluminum and the brass or tool steel to the aluminum. And when you thread them together, the tool steel and the stainless steel or brass and stainless steel have different expansion rates. So they'll separate with a normal V6 or any standard hot end. They all use the basics idea of a stainless steel or titanium or whatever. Most of them are stainless steel with brass, and they got different expansion rates. So they separate when they heat up. So you have to retighten them.
I got something wrong, and I don't know what.
They don't actually separate; they shrink. So their tension on the threads in the aluminum brake, because it shrinks, loosens, and that makes the two of them separate.
Everything is
because the interface of the threads loosens up as it shrinks. Most metals shrink when they heat up, right? Shrink? Yeah, shrink. They expanded, it would tighten.
No, most. I thought metal expands when
I
heated.
don't know if that my explanation made sense. I'm not the best at explaining that kind of crap, but that's basically it.
Metal expands when heated. That's why it's called thermal expansion.
Then everything should tighten up. Why does it loosen? If it expanded, everything would tighten up. I think it's to a point, and then you get beyond that point, and they start shrinking. If everything expanded, the aluminum expanded, the stainless expanded, the brass expanded, everything would tighten. Even if they were at different rates, they'd still tighten. Right? Something I'm missing? Anyway, during the expansion contraction changes, it loosens. I don't know which way it goes or why it exactly does it.
But... because the metal block ends up hotter than the heat break because the heat break is supposed to be cooler. So the heat break threads don't expand as much, so that's why you have to tighten while hot.
Oh, right, because the actual the face where the two interfaces becomes loose.
Yes.
Right.
Because as the heat block expands, gravity pulls down.
Right. So the actual, right. It's still, if it expands, it's still tightened. But anyways, something I'm missing, something I'm not thinking clearly. But anyways, nozzle while cold. You can. You can remove a nozzle while cold. The only reason I found you can't is if you've used it, the plastic acts like a glue when it's cold.
Actually, I always loosen mine. Since I tighten hot, I loosen hot. And
right.
My reasoning is because I have watched people actually spin the nozzle head off the threads and actually break them when they try to pull.
The plastic. If it's been had plastic in it,
brand new, never even printed yet. The guy was undoing it because he decided he wanted to flip the heat block around.
Yeah, like I did.
Yep, and it snapped the nozzle off in the heat block.
I've not snapped the nozzle. I've snapped heat breaks off because it's usually the softer.
Right.
Trying to loosen it up. But anyways, It's usually, once again, it's because things don't. It's easier to do everything hot.
Yep.
Things separate and move easier when they're hot. Generally, if you've ever used your hot end, the only reason to do it, the biggest reason is the plastic will glue itself between the nozzle and the heat break, and it's nearly impossible to separate the two unless it's hot and the plastic's liquid, because PLAs, PETGs adhere to metal real heavily, especially when cold. They like glue themselves to it.
I might have accidentally fried this video transmitter.
Which is why people don't realize, but all metal hot ends came out before line ones do. Lined used to be the improvement for PLA because PLA sticks to metal.
And still is. So, if all you're going to print is PLA, I highly suggest sticking with a
lined hot end. All metal hot end is not an upgrade for a PLA only printer. The lined is actually an upgrade. That's the point of the lined, is PLA sticks to stainless steel like glue. And if it's cooled at all and you do a retraction, it sticks to the heat break, and boom, you have an instant jam. Because PLA will glue itself to stainless steel.
Yep.
Which, that's the one thing I've got to say with Hemera. I have not had that kind of jam yet. I've had it jam, but it's always jammed because of the drive gears like binding up and crap.
Only jam I have had is on feeding the initial load of TPU. That's it.
Yeah. Well, back before I knew what the hell I was doing with it, I used to just back it out and let it sit there, and the hot like string from the very tip would catch on the teeth and wrap around it, and then the whole thing would jam because it would instantly cool, and now you have basically a freaking pigtail of plastic wrapped around your drive gear.
I do not.
Where now I know you back it out, you grab the filament and you yank it out as it's backing out, so when it releases it, you pull it right out.
Yeah, me, it's loading. One of mine, the gears are not exactly lined up perfectly.
One of mine, it's not either. They're like offset.
Yeah,
I noticed that too.
So I've had an issue with it not wanting to.
I don't think that's the biggest downside of the Hemera. I think is I don't think you need the dual drive gears. You really don't. If you need dual drive gears, there's something else wrong in your hot end. If you cannot feed the filament through with a single gear like an old MK8, the MK8s work. Why? Because everything else worked down the road. If it's not feeding, if it's jamming, if it's skipping, there's something down the line that's jamming, not the extruder's problem. If you need to force it with the the BMG or the Hemera dual drive gearing, something else is wrong. You shouldn't have to force the filament that hard. Now there are exceptions. If you want to do super fast, and you're trying to feed it into the hot end and pressurize it, and you get to the point where you're feeding the filament so fast, even though you're melting it, you're increasing the pressure in the nozzle and in the hot end, the hot zone. That you might need it, but most printers, hobby printers, can't accurately print that fast.
It's not powering up. I might have fried the video transmitter by using too much heat.
Well, that would suck. Don't do that.
And I don't know how I can properly test it.
Plug it in.
I just did. It didn't work. No, I need to be able to test what voltages are where. And I've got things blocking, making it almost impossible to get a meter on it.
Not a clue, dude. I know nothing about all that crap. I'm completely clueless about electronics in general. How they actually work and wiring. And I mean, I can generally figure something out to some extent, but I don't know.
The receiver works. I got that working.
Oh, I knew I forgot to do something. I wanted to bump the goddamn fan in more. Oh well.
I wonder if my mail's gotten here yet. If so, I actually have a whole new board I can swap out in place of this for now. And then I can troubleshoot that later.
Cool. I knew that was something else I wanted to do to the fan ducts. So, anyways, about done.
Okay.
Because another 5 minutes, anyways. We'll make it an even 2 hours. How's that?
Well, my audio is going to break up in a second.
Why are you outside?
I'm walking out to the van to see, or to the mailbox.
Oh, I got like 3 or 4 more hours before my mail gets here. Sucks.
My mail normally gets here about this time.
Yeah, we used to get it in the morning, 8, 9 o'clock. We were like the first ones on the route. And then like a whole like 4 or 5 of the mail deliverers retired. And they redesigned the whole route. And now we are literally, my driveway is the very last one, very last house on the very last route of the day. So I don't get it sometimes until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which sucks. I used to love getting it in the morning because then, you like order Amazon and the crap shows up and you got all day to play with it. That freaking stupid little cheapo A-net. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Most of it's been replaced, but that is probably my best printer now. With the mirror on it, which you can't see. That one over there running away back in the corner in the closet. That's still good, but I haven't run it in like a month and a half. I haven't even turned it on because this does it all. And it does beautiful prints. And it's a 0.6 nozzle, not even using a 0.4. I still think this does TPU a little bit cleaner with the old MK8 nozzle.
Yay, I'm back in range.
Are you? Yeah, you're breaking up a little, but you're back. So did your mail come?
Yeah, but not what I was hoping for. Now, the only thing that arrived is I ordered some stuff from the actual USPS to help support them a little. Stamps and stuff.
What?
So.
Oh, you ordered stamps.
Yep, I ordered stamps that way I could help the USPS out some.
Yeah. It's funny because I keep thinking about ordering stamps, and it's so funny because the post office is literally almost at the end of my driveway. I can see it out this window. I can see the post office right there. We have a little beach post office that's only open like 4 hours a day.
Yeah, mine's only open. So Monday through Friday, it is open for 9 a.m. to noon, and then 1 p.m. to 4.
Yeah.
And Saturdays, it's only open from 9 a.m. to noon.
Yeah.
And that's it.
The cool thing is they put the electronic locks on it that they can unlock it. So the post office, you can get, if you have a post office box, you can get to your box from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. But the window's only open from 10 to noon and from 3 to 5, I think.
They don't even have a lock on the door to get to the boxes.
They do here.
Yeah.
But the new one's electronic. It automatically.
I'm in a
puts
town
on-
of 2,000 people. I live just outside a town of 2,000 people.
Yeah. Well, we're a little bigger than that, but not much. The problem is again, it's a beach community. So
Yeah.
right now, even with
You get
COVID,
the tourist flux.
we're at like 40,000 people. But in the middle of the winter, we're like 4,000.
Yep.
Because 80% of the houses down here are seasonal. They're 4 or 5 months a year, and that's it. And that's the only reason we still have that post office. The PO keeps trying to close it, and all the beach people start screaming.
Good.
Because there's 2 more. It's only 3 miles away to the old Lime post office. That's called South Lime. We have a town here that's just the post office. It's literally like a mile square.
Yep.
And it's not really a town. Matter of fact, I know it doesn't even exist anymore because I used to live in South Lime, even though my mailing address was Old Lime, because South Lime doesn't do delivery. It was only the post office. And I think they got rid of it because I'm pretty sure my actual address now is Old Lime. I think South Lime, the town, is gone. Because if you look on Google Maps, they now call it Point of Woods Post Office. Which Point of Woods is a private beachy thing that the post office is at the mouth of the entrance to. And I think they abolished South Lime and just renamed the post office Point of Woods Post Office, to be honest. I can't remember. I know they were talking about it.
I need to order a better set of helping hands. This is insane.
So yeah, I don't order anything. I literally walk there. It's less than a mile away by, going down my driveway and everything. It's less than a mile away.
I don't think my
I
grounds.
just walk there.
Yeah, looking like I got a bad ground to the
Anyway,
video
on
board.
that note, it's been over 2 hours and I'm going to kill it because I got to pee
Okay.
and make lunch for mom and do all that chores
like a plan.
type crap.
Yeah, I did mine before I got on.
That and I want to turn my air conditioner back on because it's starting to get warm in here. I'm sweating.
Okay, take care, man.
I've been turning it off when I stream, trying to. Anyway, later, guys. Later, people. Speak, you dumbass. Later, peoples.